Once, Jesus entered a town called Capernaum, and he goes into a house and he starts teaching the people there. And so a crowd starts to form and they fill up the house, and it's so packed that the crowd spills out into the street, and they're all trying to listen to what Jesus is saying. Now, there are four men in that town who bring a paralytic, who's their friend, to Jesus because they want him to heal this paralytic. But they can't get him through the crowd. So they climb up on the roof, they hoist their friend up, and they dig through the roof, and they make a hole, and they lower him in front of Jesus. And Jesus looks, and he sees their faith. And he looks at the man on the mat, and he says, "Son, your sins are forgiven." Now, there are some religious leaders who are there, and they immediately think to themselves, who is this who claims to forgive sins? Nobody can forgive sins but God. He's saying something only God should be able to say. And Jesus, he immediately knows what they're thinking. So he looks at them and he says, "Why are you thinking these things? Which is easier, to say to this man, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say to him, 'Get up, take your mat, and go home'? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." And he turned to the man and he said, "Get up, take your mat, and go home." And immediately that man, who hadn't walked, maybe in his life, maybe in a long time, he got up and he stood on those legs and he picked up his mat and he walked out. And the entire crowd praised God. And they said, "We've never seen anything like this before."